stop pushing forward. Don't stop sharing your truth. Continue to trust God and believe in His plans for you. PUS'HER, we are healing with you. We see you.
Hey, it is your girl Pusher. If you're not pushing forward, you're moving backwards. Say it out loud. Forward, ever, backwards, never. No, really, say that thing out loud. Forward, ever, backwards, never. Did you get your copy of It Takes One to Know One, People Pusher, and Remember Me? No. What are you waiting for? Go over to pusherlife.org, go to the office link, and cop your 3 books. You don't want to miss out. We are Healing Out Loud, and we have begun an initiative calling Healing 1 Million People, One Person at a Time. So if you have yet to go over to pusherlife.org, and take that pledge, I want to encourage you on today, on this good afternoon surprise. I know you're not used to seeing me during this time and during this hour on this day, but surprise, here I am. I do have something to say. I really do. And I got a few things going on at one time. I don't know what that was, but I told you, the question that I asked myself today to get me here to this point right now, I had to ask myself, who are you waiting for? Literally, I know that may sound ridiculous, but I had to ask myself, who are you waiting for? Today, I got something to say, and that's the only time I come out. So I'm in my Kendrick Lamar bag. Sometimes you got to pop out and show them. And I do not during this day and this hour, do this. So I must have something to say. And right now on this day, to let me reintroduce myself to some and remind others, I am the people pusher. And the more that I push people, I realize that I too do need a push. And I'm saying every now and then I have to stop and ask myself, who are you waiting for? I don't know about you, but I'm telling you, I woke up in a posture, have to ask myself, who are you waiting for? What phone call are you waiting for? What opportunity are you waiting for? What is the thing that you have dreamed of? What is the thing that you have been writing out? What is the plan? And I'm asking you, just like I asked myself, who are you waiting for? God gave you the vision. God gave you the dream. God gave you the creativity. God gave it to you. So who are you waiting for to begin to do the work so that you can actualize that which you desire? Now, I know I don't know everything. I know I didn't spend 22 years of my life in prison. I know. I know many people would ask, well, what is it that you have to author? What offer? What is it that you have to say that will provoke me to listen, or that will provoke me to boss up, lack of a better word, in this moment? I don't know. And so I'm scattered right now. And I got a few things going on in my heart. I got a few things going on in my mind. And so I find myself here so that I can begin to unpack this stuff. See, this thing of calling healing out loud just don't happen once a week. I do it once a week so that people can see healing actually happening in real time. We think that we got to be broken and we got to be a certain way to need healing, but that's not necessarily true. I speak from a place of transparency, and transparency is only giving information away freely. And so I freely share that which I go through, which is sometimes a struggle. Sure, I don't know everything, but the things that I don't know, surely I do pick up the phone. But before I do that, I do pray and I do seek clarity. And I do get answers. And every now and then I may not understand or even hear the answer that I'm giving because my ears is closed at that time. Even during that time, I'm not that stubborn. I'm not that prideful where I can't pick up the phone and let somebody know that psychologically I'm stagnated. Spiritually, I'm suffocating. Emotionally, it feels like I'm drowning. See, every now and then I find myself in a place where I gotta tell the truth as it is, as I am going through. Why? Because so many people look at leaders, so many people look at preachers and pastors and people that you esteem, mothers, parents, grandparents. It doesn't matter. That person or those people that you esteem as someone that you can look up to, someone that you may use as a role model. But guess what? They go through too. Guess what? They still seeking and searching and trying to figure this thing called life out. No one is without struggle unless you have already made it to the other side. But those that are in the land of the living, that still have the activity of their limbs, those that still have oxygen to breathe, those that still exist in the land of the living, you still got purpose. You still got a chance. I don't care where you find yourself at on the spectrum. There is still hope. You just got to want it. And then after that, you got to do the work to sustain it, because the hope and the peace and the happiness and all these things that we look for is really inside of us. We just need somebody to remind us every now and then to go inward. My bad. I told you my mind. I got a lot on my mind and some stuff in my heart. And I got to get it out because I don't want to be stagnated. I don't want to be stuck. And I know that I am not the only one that has to remind myself to keep moving, keep pushing, keep going forward, no matter what it looks like. Keep pushing forward, no matter what it sounds like. Keep pushing forward. I know that I am not the only one. Yeah, I know the word, but sometimes the word don't come fast enough for me. But sometimes I get a vision, a flashback. And when I get it, it helps me get myself back gathered, honey. I'm trying to tell you because I remember. And because I remember, that's why my pride can't control me. That's why my emotions can't control me, because I remember. And because I remember, I'm just courageous enough to push forward, even when I don't feel like it. I'm just courageous enough to keep making it do what it do. Like Jamie, I'm going to make it do what it do, baby. Even when I don't feel like it. Even when even when it looks like no one is showing up. I tell people often when they tell me that they feel lonely and they tell me they alone and they tell me people ain't showing up. I tell them in the moment that they're telling me, I stop them and I say, look around you. Just especially when I'm on the phone with them, look around you. Where are you? I get them to describe the area that they are in. And most of the time, they are by themselves. I say, look around. In this moment, right now, that's your reality. You expect somebody to know, somebody to pick up. You like we have this magic power. And yes, we do have discernment. And yes, God will give us an unction. And every now and then we may ignore it. And then sometimes we get it. Right then and there, we do that thing that our heart, our spirit is telling us to do, to pick up the phone and call somebody. And when we get it, we are proud of ourselves because we got it in that moment. But there's sometimes that we miss the mark. We human. But guess what? When you look around in that moment and you are by yourself, hello, the feelings that you're feeling are real. Because in that moment, you are by yourself, but at any given second, you can choose different. If you don't want to be by yourself, if you don't want to go through the struggle by yourself, then you got to deny your pride, your ego, what you think the perception that you have that is birthed out of your undealt with trauma. So not only do you find yourself struggling, not only do you find yourself in a place where you are alone, but the crazy part about it is you don't know what to do with it. That's why I'm here to help you. When you find yourself by yourself, take advantage of that. What do I mean by take advantage of that? That's your opportunity to talk to God. That's your opportunity to deal with yourself. That is the opportunity to get yourself gathered. That is the opportunity for you to see your own strength. That's the opportunity for you to operate in your own freedom, which is only based on what you think, feel, and believe. That's an internal thing. It has nothing to do with that person that you mad at because they didn't show up when you were going through, but you didn't communicate to them that you were going through. You expected them to show up for you without communication. I'm here to help you. Why? I'm here to help you as I help myself. Why? Because I ain't got this thing called life figured out yet. Yeah, sure, to some people, I may make it look good. I may make it sound good. And guess what? It is good. But guess what? Every now and then, I got to feel those pains of loneliness. I got to be reminded of how this thing first got started. When I began to choose me, when I begin to walk in the power and the authority that is within me. See, sometimes I got to remind myself, take myself back to that moment. Why? Because out here, everybody knows everything. Everybody got a solution for everything but their own issues. I'm here to tell you, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. The world speaks loud, but God is gentle. That voice inside of you that you don't trust, that you still doubt. You know, that voice that tell you, that's not for you. We ignore it, and then we go call our homeboys or our homegirls and try to get validation or try to get some type of clarity or whatever I don't know what it is that help us. That's all I can say. I don't know why we choose to struggle when we don't have to. It is not that difficult. It really isn't. And in this moment, I am reminded of how I got here. I made a decision to choose me. Yeah, it may sound simple to some because you got it together. I know. And I'm happy for you. But for those of us that still find ourselves struggling, for those of us can show up in a room and still feel like you're alone. For those of us that have these big ideas, so creative, so talented, but we looking for people to support and we looking for people to invest. I'm talking to you. It takes one to know one. That's why I tell you to go get these, go get it and do the work. Nobody told me that this was going to be easy. I cried. I want to be free. I don't want to be in prison no more. Somebody help me get out. I pushed my way. And now that I'm here, I find myself understanding that the struggle doesn't end. It just doesn't. But what you do while you're going through determines how you handle it, because that determines the bounce back. And it don't take days and weeks. Just a decision. And then a commitment to that decision. See, this is the conversations that we got to begin having, not with our friends and not with everybody else, but with ourselves. Because how can you want anything from someone else that you're not willing to give to yourself? The best investment that you will ever make in this lifetime is investing in you. Believe. Believe. Who are you waiting for? They're not going to show up unless you ask them to. Who are you waiting for? You only get 24 hours out of a day. 24. Who are you waiting for? You turn on the TV. Well, I be watching YouTube. I stay on YouTube. I got to remind myself that there is real TV shows for entertainment. I got to remind myself sometimes to just step away so that I can enjoy some of the liberties that I have within my perimeter. Because I'm so consumed in work. I'm so consumed in getting it right. I'm so consumed with not giving up. I'm so consumed. And I realize that it is unhealthy to be consumed in anything, good, bad, or indifferent. Nothing should consume you to the point where you got to remind yourself that it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to go out and have fun. It's okay to hang out with your friends. It's okay to sit outside and enjoy nature. It is okay to take a walk. It is okay to pick up the phone and call somebody. It is okay to laugh. This is real life for some people. And so I beg you to start showing up in grace. Start showing up with the intent to get to know people before you judge them, before you write them off. Because that very person that you write off can be that very person that has your next blessing, your next breakthrough. I know we don't look alike. I know we don't look the same. I know. I know we might not enjoy the same things. I know. But that's what makes us unique. Yeah, sure, we are more alike than we are different, but those things that makes us different is what makes us unique. Why not give people a chance to see your uniqueness? Why not give people a chance to see just how creative and talented you are? Why not? Create the space, the opportunity for yourself. No matter where you are, we got so many resources out here. We are without excuse. Now is the time to choose you. Now it's to understand that you are responsible for your own growth and development. Who are you waiting for? You are responsible for your next breakthrough. You are. There is not one person that I have seen, that I have met, that I have heard about, that I have read about that can fix people. I don't care what your title is. I don't care what your what are we experts in, and I don't care. Your responsibility isn't to fix people. Your responsibility is to create environments and atmospheres that is conducive for growth and development. Why? Because you're working on your healing. Why? Because you found a way to create that space for yourself. Don't gatekeep it. Share it. I still don't know how to, fun fact, I still don't know how to ride a bike. I still don't know how to swim. And I still don't know how to drive a car. I call myself a passenger seat princess. I do. And I understand that the more honest that I become with myself, I can tell the truth. I don't want to ride a bike. And that ain't coming from trauma. Yeah, as a kid, I had a bike. And I actually was taught how to ride a bike. But then when the training wheels came off and I got on a bike, I fell and bust my knee. I still got the scar. I had to get stitches. I did. I tried again. I got back on the bike. I did. As a little girl, I remember. But then there was something in me that just was saying, this is just not for me. I don't like it. I don't like how I feel on it. I don't like it. And so I never been back on a bike. Swimming. I've as a little girl, I remember going to parks, water parks, and going to beaches and things of that nature. And the guys in my family don't care. They knew I couldn't swim. They would dunk me in the water and somebody would come save me. I never had an interest. Almost drowned a couple times. But I assure you that as an adult, it isn't fear. I just don't have an interest. And why that can't be respected? Why does it have to be trauma connected to that? I recognize the trauma as a little girl, but as an adult woman, it's something that I just don't care not to do. Why that can't be respected? Now, here's some truth. I know how to drive. I had my permits. And during this time, I was suffering back and forth from the hospital with suffering with blood clots in my lungs, blood clots in my leg. And this is the second time. And eventually, I let my permit expire. I did. I wasn't pressed. And then the more I began to intentionally think about it, I realized that fear had actually settled in, made its way in my internal environment. And I realized that the fear comes from the thoughts of, what if I'm driving and my leg give out on me? Because I never know. What will happen if I'm driving and I'm by myself and I have no control? I can't feel my leg go numb. What will happen? And I realized that the conversation, the person I was talking to was fear. See, I recognize the difference. And see, I can be honest today, because nobody can do this work. This is an individual thing. And I'm saying there's areas in my life where fear still runs the show. But because I'm being honest in this moment, I'm still not ready. Some would say, well, driving don't mean just because you go get your permit doesn't mean you have to drive. For me, it do. What's the point? Just to have it? See, my mind don't operate like that. I don't want to get a permit just for the sake of saying I got it and I accomplished getting it. That ain't me. I gotta operate with intentions and purpose. See, if I get it, I know the next step. See, the next step for me, once I get the permit, is now I still got to have that conversation with myself, because I got to talk myself out of fear. The same way I talked myself into it, I got to talk myself out of it. So the next step is drive a little more with somebody else with a license. Get comfortable. Next step, take the behind the wheel and get your license, girl. Why? Because you never know if there will be a need to. See, I gotta have purpose. It gotta make sense to me. Why? Because I'm not living my life trying to prove myself to no one anymore. You ain't gotta understand it, but you gotta respect it. Fear, it's real, but it doesn't have to cripple you. It don't have to hold you hostage. It doesn't. Stop looking at other people's situations. This is an individual thing. Because why? You shouldn't look where other people are, because you don't want to go through what they had to go through to get where they are. I used to covet people all the time. I want to pray like them. I want to walk like them. And with all sincerity, it's because that's all I know. I've been in prison. That's where a lot of my thinking, my sharpness, it comes from. But I still realize I had to unlearn some stuff, because it just ain't working for me no more. I'm not afraid to admit that. Why? Because my healing is dependent upon it. Understand that I realize that greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. I can do all things. Not some things. I can do all things. Why? Because the Spirit of God that operates in me says so. Stop waiting. Stop waiting for somebody to say the right thing. Stop waiting for somebody to give you permission. Stop waiting. God gives you the vision, but he doesn't give you the vision of the process. We're so impatient. We don't want to wait. And if you're impatient with yourself, you're impatient in all things. You can hide for so long. Push forward. You owe it to yourself. Come up out of that thing. Stop waiting. Make the decision right now. Tell yourself to get up out of that. And I'm speaking internal. Sure, many of us probably still out there doing things that we know in our hearts we shouldn't be doing, we don't want to do. But I recognize on today, that ain't going to change until in here change. And in here, got to start from the inside out, not outside in. Situations don't change unless you change. But make sure that you don't skip your process. Why? Because you don't want to find yourself on that hamster wheel. You don't want to find yourself repeating the same patterns over and over and over again. Get the lesson. Get the lesson while you're going through. And then you won't be a repeated offender. You won't raise the recidivism rate within your internal environment. You won't keep inviting the same toxic people in your life. You choosing that. Stop blame, shaming, and guilting other people for why you are where you are. Because you're choosing. You're choosing. And I'm telling you today, choose you. Choose you. Nobody got a heaven or hell to put you in. So why are you still seeking consultation from somebody who's just as toxic as you? I know. I don't know everything. But I do know pain is pain. I don't know everything, but I do know the struggle is inescapable. I don't know everything, but I know my life got purpose, and I know my life got value, and I may not know the fullness, but I know enough to keep pushing forward. I know enough that at least one person will hear me and make the decision today. See, I'm not in the business of saving the world because I'm not a savior. I show up for me. Why? Because my healing is dependent upon it. I recognize that. I gotta show up for me first. I'm doing this right in this moment. It's for me. And I pray that somebody can get blessed by it. But understand, I recognize that it takes work. I don't know what that means, but hey, hi, you want something? But I'm going to keep on talking. I really am. Understand. Understand. Greater is he that is in you that is in the world. You can do it. You really can. Stop waiting. Tomorrow is not, your next breath is not promised. It's not. It's not. Stop acting like you know. Stop acting like that you are old tomorrow, because you're not. I want to challenge you to begin to appreciate. I'm telling you, I have blood clots in my lungs. And even now, at any given time, my voice can go out. I owe this to myself to keep pushing forward. Why? Because I know I only speak when I got something to say. And I know I am not the only one who need to be encouraged. Push forward. Come out of that. Stop holding yourself hostage. Y'all got to give me a second. I got to get myself together. so many of us, we take life for granted. We take it for granted. We show up to funerals like that's normal. And we having these celebrations like that is normal. And then we make all these decorations and promises to do better, to be better. And we find ourselves back in the same pattern. This isn't normal. The next hour isn't promising. Choose. Choose. Make a decision and commit to it. You owe it to yourself. Y'all gotta give me a second. Y'all really do. I'll be back. It is your girl Pusher. If you're not pushing forward, you're moving backwards. Say it out loud. Forward ever, backwards never. No, really say that thing out loud. Forward ever, backwards never. Have you gotten your copy of It Takes One to Know One workbook and journal and people pusher? No, then travel over to pusherlife.org, go to the author's page, and you will find It Takes One to Know One and People Pusher. Come